We are live. This is the Aaron Zero podcast on October 30th. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Let us see the news for today, news local as well as international. So it says Dhanteras delight, 102 tons gold shifted to India, says the RBI. Yesterday was Dhanteras, an auspicious day to buy gold in India. So 102 tons have been shifted to India from England, and the current holding is 510 tons in India, which has been shifted to various places as the country and the government felt that it was better to have the gold stock right here at home as a hedge against inflation and other stuff that's going on. In geopolitical tensions across the globe, many in government believe that it's safer to hold gold at home. So on May 31st, the Times of India first to report that about 100 million tons being moved from UK had also said that a similar quantity was planned to be shipped again. The movement marked the first significant shift since gold moved out in in early 1990s after government was forced to pledge it amidst a balance of payments crisis. And electronics, gold, and car sales get the festive sparkle. In the festive season, buyers are flocking to the stores to buy electronics, gold, and car items. And there were special discounts on car sales to entice the buyer to buy cars. And so some of the car makers that are doing very well are Maruti Suzuki, Hyundai, Tata Motors, and JSWMG. Sales of smartphones, iPhones, have also stayed strong. So the festive season is on. Two more terrorists were killed after the army attack in the Akhnur sector of Jammu and Kashmir. They were fired upon while there was an ambulance being in the area. And so there was an overnight operation, and two more terrorists have been killed. On the line of control with Pakistan in the Akhnur sector, the soldiers are celebrating Diwali by bursting firecrackers and doing the various pujas there. So it's like Diwali at home, but it's far away from home. And Brazil is the second BRICS nation to say no to China's Belt and Road Initiative because they don't want to be signing an accession contract, in the words of their prosecutor, advisor, sorry. And it's the second country after India who wants to maintain its independence and not be beholden to China, so to speak. The iPhone exports have soared to 33% to 6 billion from India. So that's really a feather cap. Indian made iPhones, and the iPhone company is reducing its dependence upon China and hopes to touch 10 billion in exports. So that is quite a feather in the cap of India. It's a high-end phone, the iPhone 16. Hezbollah Allah successor, a gentleman called Naim Qasim, to succeed the airstrike in September. That is what the militant group says. Then there are two people who've been held after Bambi Hug gang demanded 10 crores from a businessman and fired at his house. Bambi Hug gang is a gang that's operating in India with connections to USA, and the police caught two amateurs from Bulandshahr who were contacted by US-based gangster Pawan Shokeen and tasked with of businessman's house and firing. Shokeen functions with Bambia kingpin Lucky Patel from US. Jailed gangsters Kaushal Chaudhary and Bhuppi Rana are handling operations out here. I still am wrapping my head around that. If you're in jail, how can you be handling gang operations? But that's what the paper says. Then there are criminal elements who are selling guns on WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook, and seven people have been held, including two buyers. And the gang was arrested while delivering a revolver in Muzaffarnagar. Country-made pistols were sold for 4,000 to 5,000, while an imported revolver was available for 40,000 to 50,000. So let us go next to the US elections and how it has changed in 231 years. In 1789, when George Washington was elected, there were only 13 states that made up the country. That changed in 1866 when they had added and they had 34 states that briefly split up into two halves, the Union and Confederate, and they had the battle there in 1860. And the Civil War started in 1861, ended in 1865 with the defeat of the southern states and abolishment of slavery. Abraham Lincoln, the leading voice against slavery, won both the 1860 and 1864 presidential elections. He was assassinated in 1865, resulting in Andrew Jackson becoming president. Then in 1920, he had most of USA there. Women had this say, and they were given the right to vote. And it had the in 1912 the U.S. mainland, as we know it now, had taken shape with the inclusion of New Mexico and Arizona. It wouldn't be until 1966 that the full 50 states with Alaska and Hawaii would vote in the presidential race. In 1932, you had Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was winning in the polls, and this came after the 1929 Wall Street crash, which plunged the US into economic crisis known as the Great Depression. It would take about 10 years and unprecedented policy moves by Franklin D. Roosevelt as part of his New Deal prescription for the country to emerge out of a cycle of rising unemployment, plunging agricultural incomes and poverties. Uh, would win president elections for record four terms, 1932 to 1944, and became the first US president to serve more than two terms. He was a wartime president, in other words. Then in 1948, the term limit kicked in, which means 4 years or two terms for the you can be U.S. president for two terms basically and no more. And follow the proposal for the 22nd Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which was ratified in 1959, saw Harry Truman being elected president. This was the first election after the end of World War II, and it came at a time the Cold War era was starting amongst the US and USSR lands. That would end with the collapse of the latter, that is, Soviet Union in 1991. In 2008, Obama made history. That's President Obama, and they call him the first African American to be elected US president. But I see Obama as the first biracial American because his mother was white, basically, and his father, of course, was black. So he's actually a biracial candidate. And receiving more votes than any previous candidate since, and the record has been broken by Joe Biden and Trump. Record for most votes was previously held by Obama's predecessor, George W. Bush, and received about 62 million votes in 2004. Obama won with over 69 million votes. 2020, Mr. Trump denies defeat after losing to Joe Biden, and that led his supporters to invade the US Capitol on January 6, 2021. Invited a second impeachment for incitement of insurrection, but he was acquitted on both occasions by the Senate, which is a weird way of doing things. Because when you are doing a coup, how can you be acquitted? Now, a bit of local news. We have a meth lab linked to Mexican cartel busted in Greater Noida here in Delhi. Who would you think? Who would you know? So apparently, the Narcotics Control Bureau busted a meth lab in Greater Noida and seized 95 kilos of methamphetamine. And this meth lab in the industrial area was run by a businessman and a jail warden cooking the drug, and he was linked and the he was linked to a Mexican drug cartel person who oversaw the quality control of the product. And so the businessman came into contact with the jail warden when he was arrested earlier and lodged in TR jail. So what do you know? A chance encounter leads to a meeting of minds in crime. So the NCB sleuths recovered chemicals such as acetone and sodium hydroxide and imported machinery in the raid on October 25. Four suspects, including Mumbai-based businessmen, have been arrested so far, remanded to police custody. And so, what do you know? The Mexican cartel is operating out here. Then Prime Minister Modi slams the AAP government and TMC for not rolling out the Ayushman cover. Ayushman is a program by the Prime Minister to give health insurance coverage to people who are over 70 years old, free of cost. And for whatever reason, the local parties don't want to implement this program, which would be very helpful for elderly people. The Spanish PM buys Ganesh idol using UPI. Spain's prime minister, who is here on a 3-day visit and who recently inaugurated a aircraft factory in Vadodara in Gujarat, where they're going to be manufacturing the C-295 military transport planes, was in Bombay, and he was buying a Ganesh idol using UPI system of payment. What else do we have here that is worthwhile? Well, somebody's doing child porn, 20 places raided, 11 men booked. And so if you're watching child porn in India, you will be in problem with the law. So stay away from that if you don't want to be in jail. So we're having a lot of cyber attacks in India, and it's a rising threat projected to reach 1 trillion by 2033 and 17 trillion by 2047. Use of illegal offshore betting platforms exposes users to manipulation, and a super cyber force and surgical strikes essential to combat threats. Holistic approach requires a comprehensive cyber policy and strategy. Cyber attacks in India went up by 15% in 2023 with over 79 million incidents. And in quarter 124, global cyber attacks surged by 76% in India amongst the hardest hit. Indians have lost 1,750 crores to cybercrime in the first 4 months of 2024. Not good, not good. We don't want to lose money. So, potters light up festive homes for new generation to mold a better future. So, the people who make the lamps and diyas for this festive time really come from poor families and have been doing this for generations. The streets choke as Delhiites go shopping on Dhanteras, which was yesterday. So a lot of traffic snarls. City's air quality improves to poor, likely to turn severe on Diwali day. Well, they have prohibited firecrackers, so let's see how many people will listen to that. Diwali doesn't mean joy for pets. Excessive noise makes them anxious. So it's better if you keep your pets indoors, away from the noise, and try to keep them safe. So what else? Breasts at 6, period at age 7, early puberty is stealing childhood. Doctors say early hormonal changes could be due to reasons like childhood obesity, exposure to chemicals, hormones in food, and poor diet. And also, young people are getting heart attacks, and that's probably because of lack of exercise, eating wrong food. And they say which oil is best for your heart health. Uh, Rice bran oil is supposed to be good. Mustard oil, groundnut oil, sesame oil. So they recommend a combination of oils with different changes. Ratios is recommended for balanced intake of fatty foods. They recommend mono unsaturated fatty acids like olive oil, avocado oil, canola oil, peanut oil, polyunsaturated like fish oil, flaxseed oil, chia oil, and corn oil. Unsaturated fats, both monounsaturated and polyunsaturated, are considered healthier than saturated fats. So that is, and on this day, the Soviets tested the nuclear bomb, Tsar bomb, in 1961, which was one of the most powerful explosions to come at that time. Snaps videos of actress Shilpa Shetty inside temple where photography is banned, sparks are raw. What else do we have here? Ah, King Charles, sorry, and the Queen are here in India, or were in India, after their royal visit to to where was it? Samoa. They spent a quiet visit in Bangalore for having a alternative care treatment there, and so it was a private visit by the King and Queen. So a lag in U.S. engine supply delays IF induction of Tejas Mark 1A. Uh, the U.S. company General Electric has delayed the delivery of aircraft engineer engines for the Tejas fighter, and that is delaying the induction of the jets in the Indian Air Force. So India and Spain wage war on terror, seek action against LET and JEM. These are terrorist organizations. What do we have here? Army's canine hero Phantom dies in J&K encounter. Unfortunately, this dog died when he was shot at by the terrorists. Israel's vote to ban UNRAW draws West ire as strike kills 93 in Gaza. So it's defied calls by US and seven other nations not to hit the aid lifeline. So the Israelis don't want the UN to operate there in Gaza and to help feed the Gazans. I guess they want them to all starve. And so that shows the thinking of the Israeli country. What else do we have here? Trump says he's opposite of a Nazi after MSU rally fallout. And Canada Party says they will work with opposition parties to oust Trudeau government. That it will work with other opposition parties in Canada's parliament to topple PM just introduce minority government. The Dhanteras has boosted consumers' sentiment ahead of Diwali. Gold shines despite price rise. Cars, iPhones see strong sales. And LG Panasonic sees good demand for premium large screen size TVs. Life Solutions witnesses 39% growth in sales. And Oppo sees 70% growth in sales. So there's been a lot of interest in buying gold chains, jewelry, and even diamond jewelry. And before we go, what do the film actors do in there? Well, they like buying gold. And traditionally, buying gold has been associated with women, inspired by the inherent connection to the precious metal. However, men are embracing this tradition to mark the Diwali week and make good investments for their loved ones, from choosing beautiful jewelry to investing in gold coins. They are all out with buying gold. Every year we buy gold and silver coins. Now we have a collection, according to actor Karanveer Bora. And Shakti Ora says he keeps an eye on gold prices. With a surname like Sony, gold feels like an obvious choice, according to Jay Sony. And for me, gold has always been the smarter investment, according to Hithan Tejwani. So, and I love gold more than diamond. Truest both rise, and they all love gold, and we are also sold on it. And hope you enjoy the show. This is the Aaron Zero Show. Please like and subscribe. And we have the Aaron Local Show, which is news in shorts. You can catch it on your mobile. Have a great day.